Hello everyone and welcome, it's Shanna. Now I've got this Echo Park April 2024 card makers kit and it's Winnie the Pooh and it comes with a card inspiration sheet. You've got a paper pack, a stamp set that has all these little Pooh images and sentiments on there, and you've got a pack of ephemera. And I'm just going to pull out some of these pieces and show you what you've got. It has several different die cut pieces. It actually includes 34 die cut pieces, and you've got, all different types. You've got some banners, some that you can stamp some sentiments on. You've got some squares, you've got some pop-outs, you've got just all kinds of pieces here to work with. And I'm going to be working with some of these. I actually went ahead and cut up a KCC 14 set because I thought I've got this new paper pack, and what a better way to really use some of it up than, to use KCC. I couldn't think of a better way. So I'm going to start laying out sketch one, and these are the two pieces of pattern paper that you cut, and this paper is double-sided, and so I'm going to use one side for sketch one and then the other side for sketch two. And I'm just trying to figure out how to cut this border around this without wasting a whole bunch of this Spellbinders cardstock. So I'm going to fool around with it and try to figure out how to cut it and not waste as much of it so that I can have some pieces to use for die cutting. I probably should have just laid the thing down and cut around it, but I was trying to be conservative, I guess, and save it. So, and I'm having to bring in my scissors because I can't hardly get the trimmer to work for it. So I'm going to do that, and I got that one cut, and then I'm going to lay the other one down and get it cut. And I think that first piece that I laid down there was the one that I forgot to put the trim on the lower right edge of it, the one that's laid down there, and I'll have to fix that, I believe. This set, I'm going to do 5 cards on this video here, and I will say it didn't come without problems because I made a few mistakes along the way, but it's okay. You just do the best you can, and no one will ever know unless you tell them on a YouTube video. So I've got that one laid down there, and then I realized that this one that I picked up here, I didn't edge it. So I've got, first of all, I'm going to try and layer it so that I can get it to lay level. And I'm going to trim off, and I'm getting it glued up. And then I think this is when I realized that I forgot to trim that bottom piece there, right there. So I'm going to bring in a piece of the cardstock, and I'm just going to glue it down on there and just make a trim. Now there would be a seam there that you might see, but I'm not going to worry about it because I'm not going to throw it away and start over. I'm just going to go with it, and it'll be just fine. And then this one I'm going to layer up with the remnants as well, just so that it'll kind of stay level. And this is fun. Now I took the Simon Says, it's an old embossing folder. It's called Crisscross Embossing Folder by Simon Says. And I thought it was cute on it because it has kind of a little trellis pattern, but it also has kind of a little raised thing that kind of looks like a little bee. And so there are some bee elements in this particular set, so I thought that'd be fun. So I've got that all laid down, and I'm going to bring in my card base. I forgot to score those up and get them in my envelope, so I'll be scoring up 5 card bases as we build these. Some of them I do off camera, I think. But anyway, we'll get this laid down on there, and I'm the messiest crafter. I dropped that thing and got glue all over the place, and I'll just make a gluey mess throughout this whole video, and I'll be cleaning it up. I cut out some of the cleaning, but I just made a gluey mess. Now I'm just looking for a sentiment, or yeah, a die cut sentiment that kind of represents the sketch, and it had like an oval, a narrow oval sentiment on there. And so I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to pop it up because there's just not, a lot going on this card other than the pattern paper and then this die cut piece here. Now, I will tell you off camera, after I turned the camera off, I found some green and some kind of golden yellow enamel dots, and I did add some of that to my cards afterwards, which you'll probably notice in the pictures at the end, but I did add them just for fun. And this banner was in the cut apart, so I added it. Now we're going to move on to 2, and this is where I'll flip it over and use the yellow side. So this time, instead of having a Tuscan color background, I'm going to have a fern colored background. And I'm also bringing in an embossed panel, same Simon Says crisscross embossing folder. I don't even know if that one's still available anymore, but I just thought it was the right embossing folder for this set. So I'm going to bring in something to line or layer these yellow panels with, and I thought, well, it's got a lot of white in there, so let's just use this piece of white cardstock, this is hammer mill, and just create my layer with this. I'd already cut some of it off to use anyway, and so I'm just going to get it laid down on here, and we'll just create layers on both sides of these, I guess, triangles. And I'm trying to figure out how to best cut it because it's kind of awkward to go backwards, but I wind up doing it anyway on at least that piece. And then I can trim this one away. And then we've just got a white backer. And I thought that white backer worked because there is some white in this yellow pattern paper here. And I've got a funny corner on one of them, and so I'm going to try and get it pushed up there so it's not noticeable. And so we'll just get these layered down on here. And press down. I have to really press down hard because it is an embossed panel, and so I need to get them to adhere. Now this one I've got in the wrong position. I need to line it up with the other one, and then I realize it, so I start moving it and try and get it lined up and realize that I have to cut quite a bit off of it, but that's okay. It'll be all right. And I'm just going to cut that off, and then we'll need to find something to adorn this card with, just to add some interest. And I brought in my glue eraser to get that off of there. And then I liked this little, this was the right size for me, I thought, to put on there. And I pulled the middle out of it, and I'm going to glue this down. And then I thought it'd be fun to put the middle back in, but pop it up and just add a little bit of dimension there. So that's what I'm going to do. And this Pooh bear is cute, and the sentiments are cute. It's not something I think that I would normally go to, but it is a subscription that I subscribe to, and I thought I'm going to work with it, and we'll see how it goes. So we're going to bring in card sketch 3, and I don't know what I'm doing, reaching for. I had all of my 15 laying there, and I must have had them out of order, and I was trying to find it. So I've got, this is the one that has all of the little squares, and you're going to put them on the diagonal and put a back layer on them, and it'll just kind of cover your whole panel. And I really like this sketch, and I think it's fun to work with, and I think it can be really fun with a lot of different pattern papers. So I'm going to bring in some Cloudy Sky from Spellbinders, and I've got that Tuscan, and I'm going to line the squares with the Tuscan, and the blue will be our background panel that we're going to lay these on. I was just checking that piece, hoping that it was large enough to use, but it wasn't. So I'll get these other ones laid down on here, and then I'll find another piece that I can use for the rest of them. And I can use this piece for the triangle. So I'm going to get them laid down on there according to how I need to layer them up. And then we'll just trim that up. I'm just double checking myself. And there we go. And we'll do the other one the same way. And then I'll have to go searching for another piece of that Tuscan that I can layer that last piece on. And this, I think this is really cute. This little blue and white with the bears and the balloons. That's super cute. It looks really good with that little blue crossed pattern that we've got there. And I love the gingham, the yellow gingham. I always love a gingham. So I'm going to trim this down, and that'll be our last piece. We get it layered up, and we'll get them laid down on our card. I've been kind of waiting till the last minute on my videos lately. I've been actually making them the night before and then just loading them in the late evening and getting them ready for my channel. I've just been, I don't know, having fun doing other things. So the weather's been so lovely that you need to really be out in it, and that's what I've been trying to do. And I've been kind of busy, so I've got lots of things to work with on my craft desk right now, and so it's just a matter of picking what I'm going to work with. And I wanted to do something different because I've been on a big floral kick lately, and I thought this Pooh set would be just the thing to do. I'm going to be bringing out some Spellbinders new items here in a couple days, and those will be fun to play with, and we'll see what we can come up with. Now here I'm gluing another one down to my desk and making another gluey mess. So like I say, I am a messy, messy crafter. Got a little bit of glue on there. Got to clean it up. I'll lay my embellishment or my focal point down there and cover up that little spot. I always have to strategically place things to cover up little messy spots. And then I'm trying to decide if I want to use that one to fill that gap or these. So I'm carefully laying them aside so that I can use whichever one I decide to fill that little space there. And I'm going to try this bubble one and see. And I don't think it's quite big enough to give me the right space between the two. And so I keep trying to decide which one will work. And they're close, but I really want to fill the gap to where it matches. And it's just too wide there. So I'm going to bring this one back in, and we'll get it laid down on there. And I'll try to line it up to where I have the right distance between it. And we'll cut it off. And then I'll bring another little piece in and fill in that little gap there, and we'll get it laid down. And I really like this card sketch. I think it's fun. There we go. And I've got another gluey mess, so I cleaned that up. And I've got my panel ready. I'm bringing in my card base, and I'm going to get it laid down on this white and just have a white edge. And I think this is super cute. I like the white frame around it. And now we're just going to look for something to put on there. I've cut this little Pooh with a balloon, which I think looks good because of the pattern paper. And I'm thinking I'm going to use it. But then I find this Oh Bother sentiment, and I think that's darling. And I decide that I'm going to put the Oh Bother down in that, and I think it looks perfect in there. Matches perfectly the color scheme, and it's the right size to just fit right inside that square on the diagonal. And I'll get it laid down on there. And then I'm going to put this on the inside because it matches the pattern paper on the outside, and I think it'll be sweet on the inside. So we'll do that. And then we'll just move on to our next card. You can see I'm kind of getting a pile of cardstock trimmings over there on the right. I usually try to keep my glass mat area a little bit cleaner than that, but I guess I was just happily crafting and not pay attention. Now this one I make just a total mess out of. I'll just be honest. I'm laying it down there, and I had the right idea. And then when I decided to back it on a sheet of paper, somehow I go a little bit haywire and mess it up. I don't know. I don't think I've done this sketch right once. I'm not sure. Anyway, so I'm going to use this paper and try to get everything lined up. I think that's where I went wrong as I flipped it. I think that's right, like that. And I'm going to get it laid down on there. And then I'm going to start laying the other pieces. And I felt like I needed to scooch them down so I could get a straight line on there like that. And so I'll just scooch them all down. And I'm thinking I'll cut the right edge off, and that'll work, as long as I have them scooched down far enough. So that's what I'm trying to do. And then I think I'm going to cut it off. And I cut it once and it's wrong. And I think I cut it again and it's wrong. And then this is the third time I cut it. And I got something similar to what the sketch is calling for. I don't think it's quite wide enough. I don't know. Maybe I did it okay, but it took a minute. I think I probably have more of the blue showing than what you would actually have. I don't know. I didn't worry too much about it. I just kept going until I got it to look something like what I thought it should. Now I'm trying to find a backer piece for this yellow, but I don't have anything long enough, so I'm going to bring in the white. And this is the scrap that I used for the other piece to kind of line it up. I'm just going to lay it down on there, and I'll trim it to where I've got a nice little edge on there with my trimmer, and then we'll get this laid down, and that will be all of the pattern paper that we need to add to this, and then we can add our focal point. And I don't think it looks too bad, considering I don't think it was quite wide enough, but I like it. It'll be fine. I actually this evening chose to sit out on my front porch for a while and just enjoy the fountain and the sunshine and the birds and everything, and so that's why I kind of got a late start crafting. I really enjoy the outdoors, and I pine for the spring all winter long, and when it comes, I just want to be outside. I think that looks cute. It kind of almost looks like a quilt or something, a little quilt pattern. And I'm just looking for the right little embellishment to put on there. And I'm looking for a banner too. I thought I could put a banner up in that corner and then lay my focal point down. So that's what I'll do. These were part of the ephemera pack, and I'm just going to lay it down, and then we'll pop the cinnamon up. And we'll get this laid down on there. And I'm just trying to line it up so I can get it lined up right on there. And I think it looks okay. Now we're going to move on to the next one. And this one is the most simple. The only pattern paper piece you have is that light blue one. And you use LV Handcrafted Easy Wonder die to die cut that out. And then you lay it on a panel. And I mean, it's pretty plain. And then you bring in like an oval embellishment or cinnamon or die cut of some sort for that. So I'm just looking for what I want to use. And I'm going to use this oval one that I have here. And then I decide that the blue paper is just too plain. So I'm going to bring in picket fence what's it called? It's Distress Oxide. I think it's called picket fence. I don't know. It's a white distress ink from Ranger, and I'm going to use it. I'm bringing in my green mint tape just to tape this down and kind of cover up some of those areas that I might accidentally stencil over. And this stencil is just from scrapbook.com. It's like a combination pack stencil that just has a bunch of weird little shapes and stuff. And I just thought that might be fun to kind of run that across the panel. Once I get the paper laid down on there and the oval die cut, you don't see as much of it. I probably could have moved it around and stenciled in some other places as well, but this is all I did. I thought it was kind of fun and would add some interest to the card. Now I'm going to lay that aside and let it dry, and I cleaned off my desk, got rid of the glue, and then we're just going to lay this panel down on our card base. Just trying to get it lined up right. And then we'll lay this paper down here, and we've got some Pooh Bears on the back of it. And I've got a little edge on there that didn't come apart, a little die cut piece. Instead of pulling it, I just snipped it off. And I'm going to pop this up, I think. And I'm using just these foam square things that I have here, rectangles. And I'm about out of them. I've got to get some foam tape ordered. I want to get a big roll, and because I just keep running out. So I got that laid down on there, and then I was looking for something else. This sketch calls for a couple, I don't know, 3 more circles or something that you kind of add around the die cut piece, and I found this little bee that's in a circle, and I'm just going to pop it up and add it, and that's going to be the only circle that I'm going to add to this card. I don't think you really need to add any more to it. I was looking and kind of digging through to see if there were any more. There's a Pooh one, but I'm going to consider those circles that I've got on there, the extra circles, and we'll just go from there. I think I must be still looking for some more, kind of contemplating what I'm going to do. And then I think I just call it, and I'm like, that's it. We've got 5 cards, and we're going to stop there. So I hope you like them. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.